I'm Glyn Bowerman, and I'm playing Jacques Roux.
Now, tell me a bit about your character.
Well, he is a rabble-rouser. Most of his lines have been cut from the play because they're too extreme, and basically just shout angry socialist tirades.
He's got an interesting history. Tell me about that.
Well, he was sort of frenemies with Marat. He was actually brought in for questioning when Marat was assassinated because they thought he was a likely candidate for someone who would be angry enough to stab him. It turns out he wasn't the guy, but he was the hardest of core of revolutionaries. He called for the removal of the Girondists, which were sort of more moderate revolutionaries, and he succeeded, and also succeeded in creating a soap riot.
What kind of preparation have you been doing for your role?
Well, the first thing I did, big Dickens fan, so I read Tale of Two Cities to sort of get the history and the emotions that were around that time. Then I obviously did some background research into the character. But then for the asylum side, I just did a lot of sort of meditation techniques, trying to become painfully aware of every kind of stimulus, both internal and external, and just try and maintain that throughout, to try and approximate what it might be like to suffer from schizophrenia, which my character is supposed to be ailed with.
What are the challenges you've encountered so far, either as a performer or even on an intellectual level reading the text?
I think that the main thing is there's a pretty serious responsibility when portraying mental illness to get it right and to not sort of demonize people who have regrettable afflictions. So that was the main thing, is my look at me actory side wants to go buck wild and run around frothing at the mouth, but I'm trying to find a place that is honest and that isn't just sensationalized version of a serious thing.
Have you made any interesting discoveries, either as a performer or from a historical perspective, by doing this work or performing in this work so far?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a really interesting time to be doing this show, what with the Arab Spring and revolutions popping up all over the world, and a sort of failed revolution in Canada. So all that stuff is already going through my head, and here we're sitting we're doing a play about a failed revolution and the ideas around that. And,
the fact that this is how would you maybe you'd call it a drama musical, in that it has a strong musical component. How do you feel about that?
I think it makes a lot of sense because songs are traditionally used to fuel sort of political movements. I mean, the literal meaning of the word bandwagon was just a band on a wagon going from town to town preaching a certain political message or candidate. And so it's sort of turning that tendency towards jingoism and singing along in on itself, and making you really think about how easy it is to get caught up in the music and whatever, but without really questioning what the song's about.
Great, thanks so much.